Hello everyone, welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. My name is Jason, and today I'm going to talk about how difficult it is to detach from the body. I'll have to do a little bit of thinking on this one to explain it, but so this is the next biggest challenge that I have to go through. I'm not there yet. I have experienced what it feels like to be completely detached from the avatar. But I'm not there yet. We're not back there yet. So, as I've said 1,000 times probably, we are not our bodies. This is a game. We're sitting in this, I keep saying game, but it's not really a game because I don't believe in free will anymore. Not at least on this level. Free will exists, but it happens at a higher level, in my opinion, in the astral plane. So we write these stories, these movies for ourselves with just enough wiggle room to make it seem like we have free will, so that the illusion fools us. And if you want to look into that more, you can go back and watch my video on the roller coaster that is free will. It's 2 videos ago. And so in my opinion, it's not real. So that's helped me an awful lot in having forgiveness and understanding that none of this is anyone's fault, because if there's no free will, then it isn't anyone's fault by definition. It absolves everyone of everything they've ever done, because we're both independent, technically not, but down here, these stories that we've written from our higher selves, which are just splits from each other at even higher levels. There is no division when you go over to the very top. But anyway, for this, we'll go from the free will down. So if from the free will down, you are an independent soul. Okay, so your soul wrote this story, and another person's soul wrote the other story. And they're all intertwined down here. And in this big, beautiful, it's not beautiful right now to me, but this big, beautiful, complicated dance play that we're all playing. So you're absolved from all this, all the mistakes, which means you can't. How can you hate anyone? It's all been written. It's not even real. And that has been a struggle for me today. Now, I've just realized that there's different ways to look at this. So that we're down here playing this play, and we're in these avatars. This is what I believe to be true. As true as anything is. You know, this is literally all data and energy, and it's designed to fool us. Okay, so we're in here. We're in these bodies that are also just data and designed to fool us. But we get convinced from an early age to associate with the body, and we then start to think that our body is us. It's so convincing that we forget that we're not these vehicles. Now, it becomes us. And I've heard this a million times by many spiritual teachers, but grasping it and actually living it is a different game. And this is always the way it occurs for me. I'll conceptually understand the idea and I'll agree with it and I'll get it, but incorporating it and feeling it every moment takes some time. So I'm still not there yet. I'm working on it, but I'm still not there yet. So today, had a little bit of a breakthrough, and it was, I was waiting for my dog to get her hair cut, so our little Shih Tzu, and I was sitting in silence and I was just contemplating, and a video popped up on my phone from RJ Spina, and was talking about detaching from the body, and that is what causes all the suffering in the world. And I know Eckhart Tolle says the same thing. And then I had a moment where I was like, okay, I'm not this vehicle. And as he describes it, it's exactly like you're getting in a car and you spend so much time, like all of the time in this car, that you start to think you are the car. Now, you wouldn't do that with an actual physical vehicle. So why are we doing it with our bodies? So getting to the point where you practice trying to keep that in your mind's eye at all times, that I'm looking through lenses. My soul is looking through these lenses and animating this puppet, which is just energy in the end. It's nothing. It's not even real. So how can it be me? So that's where I've been today, and I know I need to get to the point where I'm completely detached from the body, and I haven't been. And it's been especially physically challenging because of the flu that we've just gone through. When you're in, it's relatively easy to do this. Not easy at all, but it is much more likely to be able to be done if you're feeling well. When you're in physical pain, your vessel is hurting. Detaching from that is the key. Now, it's obviously possible. RJ Spina's done it. He cured himself from catastrophic spinal injuries. His story is incredible. If you should read it, or at least look it up. And you know, he was essentially on the path to death, and he cured himself, and he did it through excruciating pain the whole time. So it is definitely possible and to do, and I'm just not sure how to, and I'm working on getting there. I think there's going to be just a switch that flicks, because you know, when I had my 3-day enlightenment, I was absolutely there. I was not associated with the body. I knew how everything worked, and I think that was just to show me what the end result could be like. Now, the frustrating part is having figured out and knowing that this isn't real. The body part of this. I mean, I can look into people's eyes and I can see your soul in them, and I know you're real in there, if you are one of the real ones. There are people here that aren't. They're just part of the simulation. They don't have consciousness. They're like filler. There's a lot, actually. You know, you can't have every video game is going to have NPCs, right? So they're here too, and recognizing those is a fun little trick. But there are definitely other conscious souls here too. So we're all here playing this game, and at least anyone watching these videos is, for sure. So I see your soul behind your eyes, but then I started to become a little bit nihilistic in a way, because my outward life right now it's difficult. It isn't fun, let's put it that way. We had the flu for 3 days. Before that, the washer and dryer broke, both at the same time, right before we got the flu. So I went and I just bit the bullet. I took the old washer and dryer out, threw them away, and then went and bought a brand new washer and dryer, different brands. Not that it matters, because the universe was doing this, and I wrote this for myself. And then when I put the dryer in its space, the exhaust wouldn't work, because it wasn't plumbed the way it's supposed to be. And so now it's venting into the house, this hot, steamy air. And we had no choice because we all got the flu, so you have to wash your clothes. Now, this just goes on and on. Like the front step just collapsed and is in a pile. It was fine like 2 weeks ago. It wasn't new, but it was fine. And then it just fell apart. Like it was accelerated degrading program. And we had a little bit of a sewer scare where we got tree roots growing into the sewer, and then my point is, this just sucks right now. Everything is difficult. So then I started saying, then what's the point? Like, I know this is a game. What the fuck is it so shitty? Why are we struggling through this? So you get a little nihilistic and you're like, well, this sucks. Some video game, or some movie. But then think about movies. They always say it's darkest before the dawn. And I know that everything's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. This is what divine timing is. All of our stories are intertwined. If they're all intertwined, you can't make changes. So we wrote this in because the victory on the other side would be much sweeter if you're coming from a place of where we are right now, which is struggling. I'm still not working. I don't know how I would have worked in this particular instance, but anyway, I'm still not working. So I'm still living off retirement funds, and eventually those will run out, and it's finite. So I have to start thinking about going back to work, which seems insane because I know this is it's a bloody matrix, and I know exactly how it works. I know who's in charge. I know how all these systems are designed, and I don't want to go back into that. What kind of game is that? That's a terrible movie. I don't want to play that movie. So, yeah, I'm a little bit just annoyed with how things are going, I guess. I'm waiting for this part of the movie where it gets, the redemption arc. It's time. I'm ready. I get it. I've suffered enough. I wrote this for myself, so I got no one to blame but myself. And that goes for everybody else too. But it still sucks right now. It's not fun. And if this is supposed to be for our enjoyment, isn't it supposed to be fun? Yes. But then I started thinking about, so I used to distance run. And I use this as an analogy. I would sometimes train for upwards of a year for a particular race. And gladly do it. And run, increase the pace of training as the race was coming up. And, do hill work to the point where you're like vomiting on the side of the road and completely shattered physically, all to run a race against other people where there was no money involved. There was no other benefit other than testing yourself. So it got me thinking, and what was the reward of it? The victory. Not necessarily winning the race. The victory over the difficulty. Putting your body through something, facing a challenge, and overcoming it. Do you see? So I started looking at this whole first half of my life as preparation. Preparation and the race. How would you think about that? Am I just ready to peek over the top of the hill and then start running down the other side? where everything gets faster and easier. And, you know, you're in really good shape, so you can maintain this pace a little bit quicker. You know, this feels like I've been climbing a mountain for 47 years, almost 48 years. And I think that's the point. Now, anyone who runs knows that running down a mountain isn't any better. It is faster, but it's extremely painful. So this analogy doesn't work great. Maybe a bicycle would be better. You're climbing up the hill and then coming down the hill on the bike would be a lot quicker and way easier. There's no pedaling at all. Yeah, that's a good analogy. We'll use that one. So I just peaked the mountain. I climbed up this thing. I cycled up this mountain and I just broke the crest. And I think that's where we're at. I believe that's what's going on. Now I just need to keep working on my detachment from this physical vessel. Remember, it's just a projection of energy. To associate with it seems insane when you think about it that way. And I guess it is. And that's what causes all the insanity on the planet. You are not your body. You're not your vehicle. You know, a lot of people will customize these vehicles to make them personalized and have their egos attached to a particular style of vehicle or brand of vehicle, or, you know, hang truck nuts from it. Jack up your truck, do all this stuff, paint it camo, whatever. That's just as asinine. Associating with your body is just as asinine as doing any of that stuff. It's fine to dress nicely. It's actually, I think, great. But as an art form, as a way to be creative, absolutely. As a way to massage your ego, I think we know the answer to that. Yeah, I think that's where I'll leave it. So here's the avatar of Jason signing off. As I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.